There we go. All right, now it's recording. Okay, so number one, we are going to start finding sine values looking at the graph on the coordinate plane. So here's our sine curve that we just practiced before there. And now instead of using the unit circle, we are going to use this graph to find the values of pi over 2 radians, 4 radians, and 3 pi over 2. So from the graph that we made from the sine function, y equals sine theta, their main points there, we got 0, pi over 2 pi, 3 pi over 2, and then this would be right there would be 2 pi. So just keep track of your intervals always so you know what the theta axis is counting by. All right, so pi over 2, so we go to pi over 2 on the theta axis, we go up to the curve, that would be this position right here. We know that that is 1 from the unit circle, and then also from this graph, there's our sine value at 1. And that's also on the unit circle. You can find that as well. 4 radians. Now, 4 radians is not one of these intervals, but I can use that pi is roughly 3.14. That's roughly what it is, and that's kind of what we can use to estimate pi. And then 3 pi over 2, I could grab my calculator and take 3 pi divided by 2, convert that to a decimal. That's about 4.7. So 4.7 is roughly about where 3 pi over 2 is. So 4 is going to be somewhere, just kind of estimating right in here, would be about where that is. And then I would kind of just draw a line over to kind of see where does that match up on my axis over here. So at this point, it has an x coordinate or a theta coordinate of 4, and it's got a y coordinate of about, I'm going to say about -9. Negative 0.9, sorry. And that again is just an estimate. And lastly, 3 pi over 2, which is this position right here. So that's going to be my C. This was my A up here. At 3 pi over 2, I'm at exactly -1. So there's our sine values based on using the graph instead of the unit circle. We can still find those values.